What's good, Relocation Football League fans? It's your boy Smitty, joined here along with Forbes, and someone who's not on the camera who's also with us is the college football guru himself, Pecan Patrick Connery, head coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes. As you can see from the title, first week of conference play is in the books in the RFL College Series as we head into week 5, but week 4 we're going to recap all that, give our predictions on what we think will happen in week 5, and a shift in the top 25 after we've seen some close games and some upsets. So with that being said, we're about to hop into this game, man. These games, I don't have the graphics. I just have not really had the time, guys, to really hop in and make that those as much as possible. And my PC, laptop, all that's acting real janky. As you guys already know, probably gonna see some skips per usual. Ain't no problem. You will see some skips during this sometimes when these guys are talking. Forbes, I think you best know when those happen. Pecan, if it seems like we're not responding or something like that, and you're in the middle of talking, and it seems like I'm trying to talk while you're talking, then that means it's probably happening to you. Just letting you know, since it's your first time on for the season. But yeah, let's get into these games. The first game we are going to get in for week 1 was the one that kicked this off. So I got a little bit of apologizing to do this week, man. Let me see what we had. Where they at? First game was
Not the only one.
Oh, hold up, man. It's the wrong. Yeah, this game tripping sometimes, man. It's not the game I picked. All right, here we go. First game to go over is what's going on? Okay, here we go. Oh, they got the game audio playing. Let's go ahead and turn that off. I don't want to hear band music crazy all the time. But the Texas versus Oklahoma State game, now kind of giving away the rankings already. But, you know, I was bashing my guy, Nyshawn, man. You know, I was really giving him the heat because, you know, last season we expected Texas to look like they did this week, right? Or at least right now entirely. They've been dominant in every game they played in. I still had some question marks with Nyshawn because his first game, he only threw for $165, and it was against Arizona State. And although Arizona State ain't that bad, I was like, man, it looks like it might be the case of the noodle arm killing this team again with a great defense. Now, the defense is great. We all know that. Nyshawn had a chance to prove himself here in this game. He went up against the true freshman and Kareem Douglas. We were out there thinking, hey, man, I even had the spread. I had Oklahoma State coming out on top with this one. And I think, what was the spread? Let me go ahead and check that out. I think I had them up by like 4 points. Let me make sure, though, just to make sure. So this week I had
Oklahoma State 2.5.
Why am I? What week is? Oh, that's week 3 spreads. Yeah, so 2.5. So I had them by a field goal. So I had a feeling this game was going to be competitive, something close. Nah, that wasn't the case, man. Got to play the Undertaker bell. You know what I mean? Now that it was bad. I thought Kareem Douglas was going to be that factor of scrambling where he was going to be able to really separate, but obviously the offense struggled mightily in Texas, and Nyshawn showed out with over 400 passing yards and beat him 45-7. What you guys take away from what you guys seen in this game? Because that didn't happen.
It's not not just you. I also picked Oklahoma State. I said I don't know what Texas offense is gonna do. Instantly proved us wrong. Scored 17 in the first quarter. Went into halftime 26-7. Scored 19 more points. You know, like you said, Nyshawn went out there with 440 yards, 4 touchdowns. So I guess Shetty was right. I was just hating to hate. Went out there and proved me wrong. It was a great game by Nyshawn. If they can keep this up, very quickly we're going to start considering this team contenders in the SEC, especially what we saw on Friday.
Oklahoma State could just not get anything going. They had almost 3-4 straight 3-and-outs to start the game. And anytime the Longhorns, they got the ball back and they made them pay. Getting Shady Hughes in the ball. But there's a wide receiver. His name is blanking on me, but he had a stellar game.
DeMarcus
Yeah.
did.
Oh dear. That's what Oklahoma State was hearing the whole entire game. Oh dear, because this guy was just getting the ball and had over 200 yards receiving on him. I think he even received SEC Offensive Player of the Week. Like this man went off, and this was just a great win for the Texas Longhorns, who last year every primetime game that they were in, they just couldn't get it going. They lost all the big games that they were in. It's nice to see them, finally get that big win that they've been needing to get, since CS6. And I think the Texas Longhorns, they are a hungry team. And shitty Houston is really starting to look like an all SEC back, which is what we expected from them. But that defense, they were on top of Kareem Douglas that whole entire game. And I really kind of think it was just, a freshman being
You cut out.
a freshman on the biggest stage. And I think that's what got to him the most.
Okay, pretty much. I think it got to what he was saying. Texas was also missing a few players. Got that situated, and once that got situated, it looked like the defense just got even more dangerous. Travis Okoye was a guy who got injured last season, had to bring the ball back. He had a whole season-long injury, so he was out of there. But he's back playing at that D tackle position. They already had a beast in Sizemore there. A couple guys, you can see him getting 2 sacks in this one. Choice getting 2 as well. Ruben, you got Chase Moore getting a sack. These guys was just balling. I don't think they got a pick on Douglas. No, they didn't. Douglas, again, I think he was kind of limited to by just what the offensive coordinator was trying to do out there. And you really just did not see them be as aggressive, I think, as they could have been with Douglas, with his capabilities. And like you said, he was getting rattled quite a bit, getting sacked there as a grand total of 6 times, which honestly, in this game, that ain't that bad. That ain't that bad, because we're seeing like 10, 12, 15 sacks in some of these games. So I think they just really didn't put the pedal to the metal in that game, man. So good dub for sure for Texas, and that's how you make a statement, jumping all the way up now to 16th in the country. But let's go ahead, and I got to turn this off after every game. And the next game to go over, you guys already know, I got the shirt on already, man. You know I'm going to rep UNC for 3 quarters. You know what I'm saying? 3 quarters, we was in that thing, man. Look at the first half. It was 10-10. I'm pretty sure the Kane boys was out there like, yo, we really about to drop one to the Tar Heels? I was like, yeah, you about to drop one to the Tar Heels. What you mean? Man, look, Jameson was out there balling. He was doing his thing. We was kind of getting back there to Taylor. So I was like, yo, they already knew it was up. Y'all boys already knew it was going to be up if y'all lost. But you know what I'm saying? Then the fourth quarter hit. Man. And hey, I was like, who is this? This ain't the same quarterback we was just looking at. Defense started going crazy. Got what's the name? Lido out there snapping on the defensive side of the ball, putting safeties at cornerback positions and stuff, thinking outside the box crazy like that, man. It just threw my guy off, man. The team ended up getting stumped on like a brand new pair of Yettas on somebody, you know what I'm saying, who's having a fight in the bar or something in New York. But at the end of the day, we got did dirty in the fourth. We put up a really good fight, though. I'm going to still say that. We put up a really good fight. I'm still going to rep the squad. We ain't get blown out as bad as I thought we did. They still covered the spread. But 31-10, I'm going to take it, man. I think that shows how competitive UNC can actually be in some of these games. They might not be up there with the big dogs, right? But if they're holding Miami to 10 in the first half, keeping it competitive for 3, almost 4 quarters, I like that, man. I like that. But you know what, man? I'm gonna go ahead and pass it off to my guys. I'm gonna get back on it because I'm about to turn up. We still lost, but go ahead.
It's what you said, man. It started out as really close. I was sitting there thinking like everyone else, like, man, is UNC really about to make an upset on Miami after we talked all that stuff on the podcast saying that it shouldn't even be a close game? And then, like you said, fourth quarter starts. I think they're in the red zone, like the 30 yards or something in, and Chamberlain's like, I'm just gonna throw a pick six here. Why not? And then completely flips the game on its head.
Crazy, man.
From then on, UNC couldn't do anything. Miami goes and scores another touchdown. What was a 6-point game was nice and competitive, is all of a sudden a 3-touchdown game. And how was it? I mean, Miami played a good game from start to finish. That's why they won. I think Dante had over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns again, something like that. But Chamberlain, completely different person in the fourth quarter, and that's what lost them the game.
100% there. They were in it almost the whole entire game. Something that was very concerning for Miami that was really keeping UNC in that game was the 3 missed field goals by their kicker. Like, that was huge and really was giving North Carolina all that momentum that they were needing to feel good in this game, and then getting the goal line stop. I think they were in the Wildcat with Matty King, and they tried to run the Wildcat there, and UNC just stopped it. But as soon as the fourth quarter happened, I mean, it was shades of CS2, CS3, CS.
Cut out. Still there, Pecan? Oh, guys, cut out.
The Miami 6 to extend the lead, and then the other interception.
Yeah, cut out, man. I'm gonna start doing this when the scissors come out. Then that means you got cut out. I'm just go like that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But
I need to get
no, what I was saying is what that I almost lost my train. Okay, so the pick were like right there. I think it was like a 4th down play. And Miami, they just took control from there. I mean, but UNC, I think UNC showed a lot of fight, and I think this is still going to be a team that not a lot of people had their sights on about possibly contending for the ACC this year. Miami, it was a great win, but that running game still concerns me against the bigger teams who have great run defenses. This is now 3 games in a row that Matty King has just not been able to get it going, and you almost wonder, like, when do you give the ball to Khalil Harris? So that's all I'm going to say. Their running game still concerns me, but Miami has been playing very well in the passing attack. John Taylor now for 2 straight weeks has played really, really great. And of course, we'll have to see how he does throughout the rest of the year. But this was a big, big win.
And yeah, Forbes had not Forbes, but CP had talked to me about the whole situation with the running back game. They're trying to get Harris a little bit more involved. They see the issues that's going on right now, but they are also looking to try to get in contact a little bit with Matty King to see what's going on, see if they can work out a deal with trading off some carries or something like that. But Matty King, I haven't seen him lately being as active, so I'm pretty sure he's going to tune in, check, and see what's up, and hopefully get in contact with Coach when it's time. But we'll see if that run game develops, because that's something you really need. You need to be established in both sides of the ball for real on offense, because if you're not, it's just when you become one-dimensional in general, it's much more easier for a team to stop you. And UNC, although that's my squad, man, I think the defense is actually pretty good, though. I'm not gonna lie. You need to be able to have a much more productive game than what we saw. Now, granted, we couldn't run either. You see Salmon right there, 35 yards on 15 carries. But back to Miami here. I mean, 61 yards on 18 carries, 3.4 yard per carry average, no touchdowns there. I mean, that's tough. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what kept them in the game. You take away that run game, and the run game kind of sets everything else up. But, we're going to take our lumps, But one thing I'm going to say, it's hot in this room. I'm hot. You know what I'm saying? We lost. So, I don't got the Miami. I don't got the Miami gear like this because, I ain't swagged up. But you know what? I'm going to just take it off, and I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be on my 50 Cent, bro. And I'm going to go ahead and switch the whole gear up, bro. You know what I'm saying? We're going to take it off, but just know We on y'all's heads for the rest of the season for UNC, boy. Talking about. You know what I'm saying?
To bring up what do all
man.
What
you know what I'm saying? Straight to the beater.
What do all the top teams
straight to the beater, you know what I'm saying?
Common.
Gotta put the silky on too. You know what I'm saying? Y'all boys done took it out. It's all
like
good.
Matt
Straight 50 cents for the rest of the night.
College
The rest of y'all
game,
for the rest of the season,
day.
we on your head. Duke you next. You know what I'm saying? We on you. Let me go ahead and put the tail back so that way I ain't looking like no Rastafarian out here. I got my hair all twisted. Y'all know what I'm saying? We about to get it done. Beat her for the rest of the night, man. Beat her for the rest of the night. You lucky I ain't got like a 50-cent cap. You know what I'm saying? Real 50 cent. I ain't got the New York fitted. But this joint looking terrible. Hold up. Dang, I thought this would be much faster to put on. In case y'all don't know, man, silkies be hard. There we go. Yeah, get the silky right. We still on y'all head for the night, man. Where my hat at? Oh, lost the hat. I'm be here mad. The rest of the night, man. And I'm leaving the music playing. On to the next game, man. Ohio State versus Ohio State versus FCS. I can't even pick the game up. All right. You know what I mean? Everybody, they're not really that good compared to UNC, but we're gonna go ahead and gas them up. Ohio State, we already know we got the Ohio State coach on the pod with us, so he gonna talk about how they broke all these records. They ain't better than UNC though. We all know that. But go ahead, talk about how y'all beat FCS, man. I ain't beat nobody.
Yeah, Pete, you can just go.
Well, let me just say, Ohio State, our 61 points at halftime is a college series record. 88 points. No team has ever scored as much as us have. Wyatt Harris is now the only player in the college series to have 3 straight safeties for 3 straight games. The only problem was that Steve McCaskill's record 18-game touchdown streak came to an end dating back to week 1 of last year. So unfortunately, we couldn't get him in the end zone, but our Arturo Flores was huge. We also haven't allowed a single point the whole entire year. We are only one of 2 teams that haven't allowed a single point this whole entire college a series. And we also returned our first ever kickoff return for a touchdown as well, just to start the game. So all I gotta say is I had one message to the guys, and that was just to go have fun, and that's what they did.
Hey, yo, he's still going for it.
I guess. It
was FCS, man. Y'all ain't play nobody.
That's what I'm saying.
Y'all ain't play nobody. We've had to play Miami, and we held them to 10 points in 3 quarters. Y'all playing FCS, man. Y'all playing FCS. I ain't playing nobody. Go ahead, though. Keep talking about them records.
Yeah, but this is what you want to see when you're playing someone like this, is that you want to see us dominate in the way that we do, and that's what we did. So that's all I got to say, is that the boys had fun, and now we're finally done with that part of the schedule, and we are going to be ready. So
what you guys say about this, boy?
It's FCS. They haven't played a team.
Come on now.
You're
moving on, Pecan. I don't care about Dylan Lewis out here throwing 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, 364 on an FCS squad. First of all, I gotta ask you, where did Bernard Mills come from?
He was a running back 3, generic.
What happened with Gibbs? Why you get more carry than Gibbs?
The game script just wanted to give Mills the ball.
Oh, okay. Now he turned up though, but yeah.
Because Gibbons got the bulk of the carries.
Unrealistic running backs. His name's Bernard. I've never seen a Caucasian Bernard in my life. And he's out here 17 yards, 93, 3 touchdowns. That's crazy.
As soon as I brought him back, he went off.
He had 4 of them things. It's FCS. Let me stop gassing y'all up. You already said all the records. We're gonna go ahead and move on. What's the next? Almost gave away some
Wyatt Harris had 7.5 sacks.
Now we moving on to Rodney. Rodney, another FCS squad, man. You ain't doing nothing. You ain't doing nothing, bro. Look at this, 55-0 FCS. He did upset Ole Miss though. We'll give you that. That was a nice dub. 55-0 against FCS. What we gotta say about this? We gotta say about this, yo.
That's all I ever gotta say is FCS. I don't care.
FCS, man. We moving on. You got anything you want to talk about with Rodney getting his FCS dub? Even though he lost to Maryland.
Very slow.
My squad, 34-10. Don't forget that. Don't forget that, Rod. You started out 0-1 against Maryland, the Turtles. The Bears lost to the Turtles. Trash. All right, go ahead.
Very slow start that you don't really want to see against an FCS school, but props to Rodney here for getting the Bears in check and getting a huge win.
Good dub, though, Rodney. I'm just talking trash, you know what I mean? I got my 50 cent on, so I got to be real disrespectful to man. This is Miami's fault, by the way. It's Miami's fault. Y'all did this. I'm going to go ahead and talk. This is a game nobody played FCS. It's Tulane. Where they at? Tulane. Okay, here we go. They played Charlotte, so I mean, is that really a game to really talk about? I will say this, though. I am going to say this. Tulane is putting BT, you know what, to a lot of squads. Charlotte, they're killing them. Now, Ole Miss, not Ole Miss, Mississippi State got stomped on. Green Wave came and washed them out, man. I did not expect them to beat the Bulldogs 58-10 when they played them. Although they kind of suck this year, not gonna lie. But they're constantly blowing teams out. 46-3. What are you guys thinking about Tulane? They ain't UNC, but they're looking all right.
That's what I've been saying all year. I think Tulane, considering their schedule, is going to go undefeated to make the playoffs. Like, I don't think they play a team better than Mississippi State all year, and they dog stomp them. I think Tulane's just going to run away with their conference. They're going to make the playoffs, and that's when they'll finally play a competitive team. Until then, it's going to be this every week.
What you got, Peacock?
Yeah, Devin Norden has really been the key guy for this team. If there's a cornerback that you guys want to keep your eyes out for, it's that man, Devin Norden. He had a very productive day. And of course, that wide receiver that they have, Zion Taylor, has been putting up numbers every single week that they have been playing.
Missed one pass? Oh.
Yeah, he was efficient. Devin Norden, and I'm telling everyone, put this guy on your radar because he is legit. I can't.
Eric Smitty?
What's that?
Do you transfer generics?
No, I think I'm gonna keep him around, man. I was thinking about possibly playing around with that, but I don't know. We'll see. Right now, it's a no.
If he's killing like this at Tulane, I'd love to see what he would do.
I don't know, man. Maybe Tulane might just be like that though in the future if they return. You know, you got old boy Zion Taylor. You got this dude over here, Peace. I mean, he's an 83, but I mean 11.
The other
127.
Yeah, the other running back is good too.
And the quarterback, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. You never know, might turn some things around. You don't want to take all the gems away.
I also know that you judge their overall coming out the draft based on their competition level. If Tulane only plays trash every year, how you really able to compare him to everyone else?
It depends, because you got to see, like, okay, right now they look like they're shooing to make the playoffs. So to me, I feel like, okay, now you're going to see comp regardless. So if you're going to see comp regardless, that's a big opportunity to show dominance on your level where these teams they're not on our level. They're not messing with us. And then you're beating teams that's in the playoffs, maybe the first, maybe the second round. Those are notable games that could really help out their stock. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not really trying to take that away from those squads. You know, so that's the way I'm looking at it. Next game we had. Let me go ahead and put this away. We had Indiana versus Michigan. Now, Michigan's been, they got punched on by Clemson. That was pretty bad, but Michigan balling. A 62-13 over Indiana. That was a pretty good beating. What you guys takeaways from that as I pull this game up?
My biggest takeaway from this whole game, my only real takeaway from this, that Michigan's got one real good running back. I think he had 180 yards, 3 touchdowns. This is, I think, the second game this year where he's had a 3-touchdown game. Second game this year where he's had over 170 yards. Like, this Michigan offense is all predicated on their running back. I don't think their quarterback did all that much, and they scored 62 points because of one guy.
What you gotta talk about with your most hated Wolverines, Pecan?
To me, Tremaine, what's his name? Tremaine, the running back's name. It's now escaping me. I know his first name is Tremaine, but that guy has been a killer all year. You got to think of what could have happened 2 weeks ago against Clemson, of when they were trying to get him the ball, and he was actually running pretty well against one of the best defenses in the country. They just couldn't get it going. But in this game, Indiana, Tremaine James, Indiana just had no answers for him at all. And I think, this Michigan team is going to be really, really good. And they are. And I think they are going to upset some teams this year that's already in the top 25. Yeah, but Indiana, they had no chance.
Hopefully that last game of the season finally give y'all a little comp, man. That's what I'm hoping, man. Even though Clemson punched on pretty bad, Clemson got a little bit of a scare, but that's crazy, man. Indiana's giving up 3 tutties, $176, 23 carries. Now Indiana isn't all that good, but Tremaine James looking like the LeBron James of running backs right now, and he's generic his first year. We're gonna get a look at how consistent he could be amongst all the backs and how he could be throughout the entire season. And I feel that Tremaine James, he keeps this up, he's definitely going to start turning a lot of his. I don't see me entering him into the draft this year, but I mean, if he comes out with a really good productive year like he's on pace to do, you can see him next year and then, put him in the hats for, future backs that might get picked up. Receiving wise, wasn't too much going on, but I like this quarterback too for Michigan, Nate Kondo. He's pretty good. His movement, you saw he struggled against Clemson, but I really like the way he gets around, and he can also, get out the pocket, make a couple plays there. So, I mean, to have a big win like that against Indiana, to me, that says a lot. I didn't expect them to win that big. I think Clemson is just one of those games for them where it's just like, man, it was a bad loss, but against everybody else, look out. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see how they do against you guys, like I said, at the end of the season. They got a couple more games coming too. But the next game after this was a banger. We had Minnesota versus Washington, overtime game where I thought that Washington was going to win the game anyway, and I think I had the spread literally by 4 points, and it ended up being 3.
Yes. Literally 4.
Yeah, so I ain't gonna lie, my spread's kind of been on lately, guys. The spread's kind of been on. Bro, I've been playing this 50 Cent song this whole time. Hold up. I was supposed to been cut that off. My bad. That thing was going for a minute. But yeah, Washington and Minnesota, great game. Go ahead and dive into that one, man. That overtime and good matchup too with the quarterbacks and just the when I looked at the skills and the way they matched up, I just knew it was going to be a great game, and it turned out to be exactly that. But a great comeback by Minnesota, but just unfortunately fell short.
Yeah, this game was just turnover galore. Harvey Claiborne, Minnesota, 380 yards, 3 touchdowns. He threw 3 interceptions. And then Washington's Pat Miranda, 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. He threw 5 interceptions. We had 8 total interceptions in this game. It was a shootout from start to finish. You can see Washington really, you thought it was over at halftime. It was like 38-17. Then Minnesota goes and scores 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to send it into overtime. So crazy game start to finish. This is the kind of games we've been waiting on. This is a college football game. This kind of intensity, this kind of hype. You love to see it.
It was a classic game. As someone who did, I mean, this game, I couldn't believe what was going on when Minnesota was charging their way back. But one player I do want to point out, even though Pat Miranda threw 5 picks, there was a cornerback, Rashawn Bonahan. He had a pick six, and I think he had 2 picks in that game. He was very crucial for the Golden Gophers to come back in this game. But honestly, this just felt like a very Minnesota ending. It's like Minnesota, they love getting your hopes up and just for it to all just crash because once they took the lead, it almost felt like that they took the lead with too much time. And Washington, they came back right at the end, getting the touch down to Rashad Prude. And then they went into overtime. The play calling by Minnesota could have been better than Washington just called a perfect calls in overtime to win that game. I mean, this was a classic game that I hope anybody that has the chance to go back to watch, they go back and watch that one.
Yeah, definitely fire anytime you get in overtime games. And just to go through these, because it's kind of taking time just to go to each game to find it, since I don't want to display nothing. But moved on to the next, we had Kansas State versus Houston. And I picked Houston to win that game too. And I think that was also pretty close within the spreads too. I had Houston by, well, actually, they actually did better than I expected. Never mind. I thought they would win by like 4. They won 41-23. So big win there. Forbes, what's your takeaways from that?
That Kansas State could not stop Houston offense whatsoever. Houston quarterback Brent's 350 yards, 4 touchdowns to do whatever they wanted in the air. And then their running back had 14 carries for 140 something yards, averaging 10 yards a carry. Whatever Houston wanted to do on offense, they did that game. Kansas State had nothing they could say, and that's what won it for them.
Yeah, running back that you want to put on your list to watch out for has been Houston's Brian Ortega. This guy has been killing it in the stats the whole entire year. Finally gets some on screen action, and he kills it against Kansas State. I mean, the big play was killing Kansas State in this game. I'm pretty sure 3 or 4 of their scores came from the deep ball or the long rushing play by Brian Ortega. This was just a great game by the Houston Cougars.
And just going through some of the statistics here. See, 2 touchdowns, big bomb, as he was talking about, a 48-yard touchdown was thrown out there to Zach Prince. Then we had an 85-yard bomb, Nick Hardman with a touchdown out there. Newberry with a touchdown out there, 81 yards. And I mean, the top 3 guys had 50-plus yards, or almost 50-plus yards as their longest reception for touchdowns. So Kansas State secondary just getting torched, and that didn't shape out good for them boys. Next game we had at 8 p.m. Eastern to close out Wednesday, Kentucky versus Tennessee. Eat that. Guys, takeaways from that one, as Tennessee was able to walk away with the victory, 33-14, and Kentucky, I mean, they weren't able to score a single point after the first quarter.
Yeah, I was about to say this was all Tennessee's defense. I won this game. I know you said you thought the game was going to be close. Kentucky ended, was it halftime or the first quarter, up 14-7? I think it was the first quarter. And then Tennessee scored 26 unanswered points throughout the rest of the game. And that was on top of Danny Johnson throwing 4 interceptions.
Yeah, pretty
so
bad.
They were able to score 26 unanswered while their quarterback threw 4 interceptions. So Tennessee's defense dominated and controlled this entire game from start to finish.
And that I feel bad for is really the Kentucky defense. They really did everything that they could to give Kentucky a chance in this game. because while they were forcing every turnover that they could, this Tennessee defense, which we think is, not the best part, it's always been the offense for this team. They were the ones who stepped up the most. It was a rain game as well, so you got to think that maybe the rain played a lot of factors in this game, because this was a Kentucky team that was coming in, just scored 79 points against Eastern Michigan the week before, and they come out here, looked great for the first two drives, and then couldn't do anything with that. And yeah, this was a game that I feel like for Kentucky, that they almost feel like this is the one that got away from them, because they had so many chances where they could have taken over this game, and they just couldn't. And the guy Jamari Logan, man, he has been an unstoppable machine this year. So props to Tennessee, but Danny Johnson, you can't be playing like that for the whole entire year if you think you are going to win.
Yeah, defense definitely played. You brought up Jamari Logan, 2.5 sacks he had in that game, 14 tackles, and 8 TFLs at the defensive tackle position. That's getting it done right there. Moving on to the final game we had at 8 p.m. Eastern. It was Clemson versus Florida State. Talk about close calls. This was one of them. Almost got the number one team in the country out of there a little bit. I mean, it was literally tied until towards the end. I'm looking to try to pull them up right now. But at the end of the day, they were able to separate. I will say this about Florida State, man. I've got to play the bell for myself. Kind of messed them up, man. I was supposed to give them an auto win since the game didn't save, and they ended up taking an L, even though they actually beat Louisville. So I mean that really sucked. And so now they're sitting at 2-2, and they really should be 3-1. I hope that doesn't really affect them if they end up actually being good. But man, they played Clemson hard. What's your takeaways?
Like from we seen from the rest of this week, those top teams that we thought were just tiers of everyone else, looking very beatable, and some got beaten. So I think this week is a real wake up call for these teams. It shows they won by 2 touchdowns, but I think it was tied until 4 minutes left in the game, 5 minutes left in the game.
It was late.
Something like that. Rivers had a real rough game through 3 interceptions. Bo Sanders. He got to 90 yards, but scored twice, so that's good. Go back.
I think that works, man. We're gonna be doing that from there.
It really does.
But yeah, just Clemson looked beatable. They better hope this is their rough game that we just talked about, how Kentucky, that one got away from them. We better hope this is the game that got away from Clemson's defense, and this doesn't happen when they play a Miami, a Duke, happen in the college football playoffs where they just can't stop teams for whatever reason. They better use this as their wake up call.
I gotta say, I was very shocked with how Clemson's offense in this game, which is something we haven't seen too much the first 2 games that we have seen them play. Normally, they have kept Colorado Rivers upright, but that Florida State defensive line was able to get to them. And another killer for them, they couldn't convert any third downs. They went 3 for 14 in this game. And that's something too, is that if you want to win against this Clemson team, you have to keep their offense off the field, because they have too many weapons and they can score at will. TSJ, everyone last year was all about Mamadou. TSJ has really been the key wide receiver for this Clemson team. And even with Florida State, they had those turnovers, and it just feels like no matter what, if you play against this Clemson team, they're going to force turnovers. But at the same time, you got to keep the offense in check. And that's what Florida State did until at the very end, it just got away from them, and Clemson just finally made the plays that they needed to make to win this game. Kind of shocking though. Bo Sanders 3.4 yards per carry. It's not something you normally see out of a running back of someone like Bo. Yes, he had 81 yards and 2 touchdowns, but only for 24 carries, which is a bit of a shock for a running back like him. So, but yeah, this was a win that Clemson couldn't lose out on.
All right, so that was a dub right there for, of course, the Tigers. And that was it for the Wednesday games. Going on to Thursday, we had the first games at 4 o'clock, Nebraska versus Rutgers. Nebraska was able to win that one pretty handedly, 44-13. Let's start getting our takeaways from that game.
I didn't have much to say about this game. Rutgers just isn't a very good team. I think it was close in the beginning, and then in the third quarter, Nebraska scored like 20-something points and just kind of ended the game there.
Didn't have a chance to really see too much of this game.
Hold on, man.
But
man.
what I
hold on. CP done came in. He gonna add. First of all, you pull up, missed the whole scene where you caused this. I ain't got the hoodie on because I took it off because we lost. So I turned straight 50 cent tonight. Straight 50 cent. Because we whooping everybody's heads after this L. Calling it right now. ACC champs. All heads. Now I'm keeping the joint going for a minute. But he done fired it back up, man. I was trying to get back on my professional. CP, you know why I took it off. We gonna get y'all, though. We gonna get y'all. We gonna take y'all a spot in the ACC championship. We gonna be playing Clemson. That's how we gonna do it. Go ahead, Pecan.
Wasn't able to catch much of this game except for the very end, but something I am starting to notice about the Nebraska team is the very slow starts against Bowling Green. They had a very slow start in that game where they could have lost to Bowling Green, and for Nebraska in this game to have a very slow start again, you just got to think that with this team and the talent that they have, that is something to watch out for throughout the rest of the year. Of when they start playing those higher Big Ten teams, is I don't think with them is that you can have these slow starts that they're having.
Yeah, man. You already went right for it. Yeah, you usually first. So not really too much to talk about with Nebraska. I see Khalil just hyped in. A real Nebraskan. Is that what they call y'all over there? Nebraskans? Let me make sure I'm saying that right. Say the wrong name or something and somebody gets offended. Next game we're about to go over, Big Ten matchup, Wisconsin versus the Maryland Terps. My Tar Heels might not have won, but my Maryland Terps got it back in blood. We done beat down Eric Wellnitz. He was not well that game. 34-20. Duh. Go ahead, Forbes.
Of course, Bill's not here now when Maryland finally plays Wisconsin.
If you're watching Bill someday, your team is still trash. Go ahead.
Maryland's quarterback just kind of took control of the entire game. Was it Charlie called Katera?
Oh, Katera. He's good.
Yeah. Over 350 yards, 3 touchdowns. Absolutely just killed Wisconsin. Wisconsin got to an early lead, and then that was it. They showed up and played the first quarter, and then took a break. They said, we're good. We showed up. We played a quarter. It's like UNC couldn't finish their last quarter against Miami.
Why'd you have to go there?
My boy Talky put in that work, though, boy. 3 tutties.
Katera. This is a guy that went off against the Bay quarterback that I think everyone needs to start showing, putting on their radar as well. This was actually a very good game to watch too. I mean, yeah, Maryland won by 14 points, but it was it was 20-20 with at least 5 minutes left to go in the fourth. But the Maryland Terps, man, they were just way too much there at the end, and I just feel for Eric Wellnitz. He wanted to come to this school and bring Wisconsin up. But he just hasn't been able to get the talent that he's been needing to get. And of course, it just now results in another loss. But
Yeah, he didn't play bad
man,
too. No picks, 2 tutties, almost 300.
right, like he Charlie Calcaterra, I'm really telling guys, like, they need to start paying attention to that guy.
Let me see what his receivers was doing out there. He had one for 85, a touchdown. Okay, Bullet. How you say that? Bullet. That boy was lit. Lit for them.
Lit.
He had who's this? Avery Monk. Okay, he had a couple touchdowns in there. He's connecting. But moving on, Arkansas versus Auburn, the next game. What you guys takeaways from that one?
I think it was our first real defensive game of this, because if I remember right, that's the 17-10 game, right?
Yep.
1-17-10, yeah. The first real defensive game. No team can really get it going. As you can see here, went into halftime 3-3. No one could score. No one could figure it out. No one could run the ball. No one could pass the ball. It was all trick play game. Auburn figured it out in the third quarter, scored 2 touchdowns. And then we get back to the fourth quarter. No one can run the ball. No one can pass the ball. The D-lines are just better than the O-lines. And that's how the game ends. No one can score in the fourth.
It was just a really ugly game to watch. I mean, I think Forbes put it best. No one could really get anything going, even with cornerback Trayvon Parkey, who's actually a really, really good. He's been playing very, very well. Honestly, he didn't play all that great in this game. But a play that I want to bring up is a pick that happened in this game. One of the wildest picks I've seen the whole entire year. Maybe the pick of the year. One of the cornerbacks, he was guarding a receiver, and he tipped the ball, and the free safety, Barry Claiborne, dove for it. And it was one of the best picks that I've seen the whole entire year. That was just a great play. But the Auburn defense, they got after Arkansas in this game as far as sacks go, as they put that Arkansas cornerback on his butt, I think like 8 or 9 times in this game. Tom Darius Rourke. So, yeah. Arkansas.
Kevin Durant's brother out here with 3.5 sacks.
Yeah, he was a monster that whole entire game. But the thing is with Arkansas, this was the team last year, if you guys remember, that was like spoiling everybody's year. They beat Notre Dame, they beat Tennessee, they beat LSU. It's been it hasn't been that year for them. They just haven't been that team, of where they've just been able to uh, to get those big wins. But then again, we haven't seen them play a top 25 team yet. So we haven't seen them play anybody in the top 25 team. But I'm very concerned about the Arkansas team going forward into SEC play now that they've lost to Auburn and Texas A&M in their first 2 SEC games.
Yeah, and I will also say, like, we kind of predicted that for them, since their overall definitely was not the same as what we saw last season in CS5. So it's a couple teams like that, especially South Carolina. I know South Carolina was a big SEC drop down, but they were right there pretty close along with them. So you can definitely see that effect early on. Still made it a close game. They might still be that spoiler team like we saw last season. They made this close. Auburn's been pretty good. Speaking of that, man, we're going to turn the 50 Cent music back on, because I'm about to go off on what happened in our file later on, which is crazy. But we'll do that when we get to the game recaps, all right? Well, to week 5 on what's coming up. So next game we have to go over is Texas A&M. Speaking of both the teams, Texas A&M versus South Carolina. Texas A&M putting a beat down on the Gamecocks, man. Final score was 48-21.
This game was over before it started. Texas A&M scored 35 points in the first half, which is more than South Carolina scored all game. Texas A&M, look at that. 35 points in the first half, 7 in the first, 28 in the second. You could tell that Texas A&M just decided they didn't need to play the second half. Like they showed up, they whooped you know what, and said we're good.
Yeah.
And their quarterback had a great game, over 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. The run game was, did their job, but the defense killed it. The offense killed it. They got the dub and moved on.
Yeah, a few guys that I want to point out. I think this running back that they have, Josh DeMarco, he has been their playmaker the whole entire year. He made some pretty big plays in the Arkansas game, and you got to see him in full display in this game against South Carolina. And another guy too, Ian. How do I say his name? Diamabo.
I think so. Odiamabo. Yeah, I feel foreign saying that. Ian Odiam.
Ian Odiamabo.
I forgot. Odiamabo. Odiambo.
He killed it. He killed it in this game. But yeah, I mean, I'm about to go look. I mean, they got to Gordon Nagy 9 times in this game. Just made Gordon Nagy's life just a living you know what. Like he just couldn't get anything going. This is almost kind of what I expected because South Carolina, they were having trouble with Arkansas State in the extra games channel back in week 3, and they just put up 21 points in the fourth to make it look like a blowout. So I just think that this South Carolina team is possibly, along with Vanderbilt, probably going to be the worst team in the SEC the whole entire year.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Only 36 yards rushing for Nordman. 1 touchdown, 1.6 yard per. When you don't got a run game in this game, man, it gets bad. It gets pretty bad, and it got bad right there. And we will move on to our next 6 p.m. game that happened Thursday. Memphis versus UTSA. It looks like we got one of them teams off the board finally for us, but Memphis 4-0, man. They out here claiming dubs. What you guys say about
that? They're going to every week. They got to play a ranked UConn, who I think is 1-3 or 0-4. Now they're getting to play a ranked. Yeah, now they're going to play a ranked UTSA. So we're going to get to the end of the season, and they're like, well, Memphis is beating all these ranked teams. All the ranked teams they're beating are trash. You shouldn't have been ranked in the first place.
Pretty close game, 27-20.
It was a great game to watch, though. I mean, I was pretty excited to watch this game. Forbes, I'm sorry, I don't know if I cut you off there.
Oh, no, you're good. You can go ahead.
This was a great game to watch. UTSA, they took the lead early, and then Memphis kind of dominated for most of the first half. But then, meep, they started to come back, and then they took the lead there in the third, and then in the fourth quarter, they were able to get the ball to Sam, a guy. And Duron Hag, he has been their key player throughout the rest of the year. But man, UTSA, they almost had the Hail Mary there at the end. They threw a Hail Mary. It went incomplete. Defensive pass interference. So they got another chance. And it was in his hands. Unfortunately, they were able to knock that ball out, and it was picked off in the end zone, and Memphis, they got the win there. But this was actually a really fun game to watch.
Yeah, next game we had Notre Dame versus Boise State. Notre Dame needed a big win, and boy, did they get it. They beat the, what do they call Boise State? The Horsemen? What is that? Broncos. Okay. beat the Broncos 44-16. Many people were already skeptical about Notre Dame after taking those 2 early losses in the fashion in which they did. Still got a shot. We're gonna see what happens with all that. but they have to pretty much play perfect from here on out if they want a shot to try to make it to the playoffs this year. They had a shot last year, folded literally the last game of the season, and they have to do, and pretty much it was under the same circumstances then as they are now. What's you guys takeaways with Notre Dame, putting this work on the Horsemen, the Broncos?
Notre Dame is 2-2, aren't they?
Yeah, they're 2-2 now.
And they're ranked 24.
Yep.
Now they are. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, but we'll get there. This is one of those games where I didn't really get to. It's like we talked about the whole tier thing. Yeah, like Notre Dame lost to LSU and Miami, right? Those are the two teams they lost to.
No, they only lost to Florida and
It was Florida. Yeah, I keep getting it. I keep saying it. I said the same thing last week. Yeah.
So Florida and Miami, two teams that are just better than them, but still Notre Dame is one of those teams who everyone knows is just always going to have a good college football team. Boise hasn't been relevant outside of that running back they had last year in the last decade, and so they just did what they were supposed to do. Is how I feel about this game.
This actually was a close game. This was 23-16, all the way until about 4 minutes left in the fourth, and everything just collapsed for the Broncos. Carr, he finally got a touchdown pass in this game. And then there was a fumble for a touchdown as well. I mean, this game was much closer than the score indicated. But what's wild is that really, I mean, even though Boise State lost big, I mean, their offense really couldn't get anything going. Only 105 total yards of offense against Notre Dame's 534 yards. And it's also showing that Notre Dame, their defense is that guy Reed. That is the defensive
4.5
end for
sacks.
him. He killed it in this game. But the Notre Dame special teams is really what kept Boise State in this game. Robbie Coolidge, he went 3 for 6, which honestly is not what you want from your kicker at all. But I mean, I think Notre Dame is still showing that they got to get Isaiah Fuller the ball because that is their guy. And if you can get Fuller going, I mean, it really does show how big and how badly that he was missed in the Florida game of when he couldn't play. So Notre Dame, just like you said, they are 2-2. I mean, they can stay perfect, but if they take a loss and enough chaos with how crazy this year has been, I wouldn't be shocked if a 9-3 Notre Dame could squeak in there.
Speaking of, as you brought up Fuller, have we made the announcement that you changed the wear and tear stuff?
Oh no, they didn't make that announcement. I was talking about, I don't know if I was talking about that publicly or not, but yeah, so we just took wear and tear off because it was too big of deficits they were giving players. I'm seeing dudes at -7 acceleration, -7, and I think that's what was really affecting some of these games. To have some teams play, and that was actually changed since week 3. So what you've been seeing since then, at least more than half the games last week, is the true team just fully playing. They don't get injured, of course, because we don't want guys, paid to get injured or anything like that. So you're good. You're all good in terms of that. Of course, there's fatigue and everything. That's going to probably take you out the game. But now, no more guys sitting out. Dudes are going to be playing at 100% pretty much, unless it's for the fatigue. And I think that's really going to show, okay, this team at its best versus this team at its best, who's better? And I think that's also going to play into a factor of better, more competitive games like we saw this past week. But after that game, the last 2 8 p.m. games before we get into the Friday night crazy games, we had Boston College versus Georgia Tech. How about Georgia Tech getting some dubs, man? They got dubs early on last season too, and then it ended up getting bad for them. But they were able to edge out Boston College, and I believe a good old rivalry, 26-23. Takeaways from that game.
Uh, I thought this was Georgia Tech's most complete game, start to finish. Oh, we froze. I think we're good. Okay. Um, this is KJ, right? KJ Smith for Georgia Tech. Yeah. I think it might have been his best game of the season against competition. He had a really good game. It was nice to see Georgia Tech come out, do their thing, the win. But at the end of the day, it's still Georgia Tech. Who knows what's going to happen as the season goes on? I don't know much about Boston College. They played competitively, but that's about all I can say about them when it's Georgia Tech and Boston College.
One of the biggest things that I noticed in this game was that Boston College just couldn't stay on the field. 1 for 13 on third downs, and the possession time. Georgia Tech had the ball for 42 minutes compared to Boston College 17 minutes. You are not going to win very many games if you are barely touching the ball. But it was starting to get scary there, kind of at the end for Georgia Tech. They were in control of this game, just like I said, by the possession time. But Boston College, they were trying to make a run there, but they just couldn't get anything going. And credit to the Georgia Tech defense, where they have just been, getting scorched by Clemson and Duke the last 2 weeks, and they come out here. I mean, yeah, they give us some garbage time points, but they played I mean, just like Forbes has said, that they played a complete game. And Earl Spencer, he had a pretty big game, 11 catches for 126 yards. He was really the key factor in this game in Georgia Tech's win.
Big dub right there. I already see ECJ in the chat, man. Elijah Carter. He's going to be repping his squad regardless, man. He knows he's stuck. I know he would wish he could have got that transfer ticket, but I mean, take the dubs when they come, man. Take the dubs when they come. Good dub. And then the last premier game, which was a shock to me. Again, we talk about close and up games and upsets. This was another close game with UCLA just being able to really, with Oregon able to escape UCLA with the home field advantage in the rain game. I will say the rain game might have skewed it a bit, but UCLA might actually end up being a pretty decent team, as Oregon was able to best them only by 13, 27-14. Takeaways from this one.
Man, Oregon came crashing back down to earth. I think they were averaging like 70 points per game before this week.
Yeah.
I think Corey Baines still ended up having a really, really good box score. But, I think Oregon finally played an actual college football team. And it showed. You're not going to average 70 points a game in college football. It's not going to happen. So they came out here, played an actual team, and we got to see where they actually stood up, in terms of this. UCLA played a great game, but I think they just had too many turnovers in the end to really stay with Oregon. Oregon's defense really stood out to me. We know we have the offense, but seeing their defense be competitive against an actual team was really impressive to me.
Another thing that's been very impressive to watch is with this Oregon Ducks defense is the amount of sacks that they are getting. They are getting a lot of sacks. I think they rank number 2 in the nation when it comes under this whole entire. I think a lot of guys of what they haven't been seeing. The rain does really play a big time effect. I mean, we heard that going into the year, that they modified a lot of things when it came to rain games, and I think we saw that during the Arkansas and Arkansas and Auburn game, and you definitely saw it here. But UCLA, I know for sure, like that's actually a pretty good team. Oh yeah, I just saw it.
Mix just came in, man. He missed the whole segment, man. It's all CP's fault. It's all Miami's fault. But I gotta play it again since someone want to bring it up again, bro. I had to throw the 50 Cent on, took the UNC jacket off, and I had to go turn a little gangster for a little bit, man. Just let them know, man. It's straight whooping heads from here on out from UNC. We dominating. We taking the ACC this year. We beat Miami or Clemson in it. Anything about UNC, I'm standing on it and we winning. I don't care if we lose or not, though. I'm standing on UNC business. And if not, if we lose, Maryland better win. Both of them lose, don't talk to me for the rest of the week until we get it up. But yeah.
We're not having a podcast that week.
Yeah, we're not having a podcast. We shouldn't have had a podcast this week. You know what I mean? Shouldn't have had one. But my boys did good for 3 quarters. The fourth went bad. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the Friday night games, man. These were fire, man. Rob had to postpone the game on Tuesday. He came in and the wait was worth it because USC versus Penn State, that triple overtime game was crazy. Let's go ahead and pull that up real quick. Where is that? Okay, right here. As we go ahead and dive into this. 35-33 was the final. And honestly, I'm blanking on who was able to score last. I think it was, Penn State was up. It was 20-13, and Baylor Kennedy. I gotta give my credit to Baylor Kennedy, man. He was able to really bring his team back into this game, and he was able to score, tie the game up. They went into overtime, and then when they went into overtime, man, it was just magic from there. Terrible play call for USC, their last play. I'll say that. Probably should have definitely kept it in the hands of Baylor, but didn't work out. And Penn State went on to score their 2-point conversion, that triple overtime, and win it at 35-33. So looking at, of course, all of that, you guys go into more details. What's your takeaways from this game, man, as Coach Severio suffers his first loss? But a good showing.
Econ, I'm going to just let you have this. You're going to give it more credit than I am.
It was one of the best games. This was one of the best games of the year. USC's defense kept them in this game twice, where Penn State was in goal to go, and they could have scored a touch down, and they got 2 huge stops. C.J. Johnson played a really great game. I think for Penn State, though, it's really showing like how big the defense is. But this is a game that Penn State couldn't lose. You look at all the other Big Ten teams of who we are playing, who Oregon is playing, who even USC is playing. Penn State only plays, really, out of all of those teams, USC and Michigan. They have a very easy schedule compared to the rest of the Big Ten, and this was a game that they couldn't lose, and they didn't. And for them to pull out in overtime and to score on the very first play that they get it in overtime too, it just had a feeling that C.J. Johnson just didn't want to lose this game. And I know Severio didn't want to lose this game, but this was C.J. Johnson's coming out party, and he played tremendously in getting them to win this game in overtime. And, hats off to them. And I feel for USC guys. I've been on the losing side of overtime, and it sucks. But Baylor Kennedy does deserve a lot of credit for bringing those boys back.
Oh yeah, you going at all on this one?
Oh, yeah. Like Econ was saying, this is definitely just a battle of Baylor Kennedy and C.J. Johnson. And the more experienced guy won, which is what you'll see most of the time, especially when teams are even. Shout out to Rohan, another great game. I can't wait to see that connection next year between the true freshman quarterback and the true freshman receiver. I think they're going to be real good this year and next year. And Penn State just won in overtime after that terrible play call by USC.
And then we had our last game of the week, which was the big upset of the week. Alabama.
Of the year.
Yeah, of the year so far for sure. Alabama and Coach Dior taking their first L to Oklahoma, who, by the way, I'm going to say this, y'all. Oklahoma usually is a team, well, it's only been this year and last year. Based off of last year, Oklahoma looked bad, right? They were either really good or they were really bad. They were blowing you out or they were getting blown out. And I kind of figured that that might be the case coming into this week. I gave Alabama to win this matchup by 18 points. Did not happen, man. Instead, the Sooners got the dub by a touchdown, 34-27, in a great game. This game was fire. But Oklahoma bested Alabama 34-27. Ford, go ahead, start us with the takeaways. And again, here goes Tua finally jumping in, seeing the joint. Yeah, I had to turn up the night, man. About the 50, but every time somebody asks, I got to throw the 50 track back on, man. But I'm just saying, UNC ripping heads all season long. We right back to it. We right back. But go ahead, Forbes. You heard me?
Okay, we're back.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. The biggest and really only takeaway from this is that Jaden Young lost this game. When you lose by a single touchdown, but you throw 5 interceptions and you're supposed to be one of the top quarterback prospects, you're the reigning Mackey winner. You can't do that. And I saw his little beef with Casey Robinson in the Discord.
Talk about it, folks. Go ahead, talk about it, folks. Yeah.
Calling Young a fake Mackey winner? Like he doesn't have the trophy? Like it's not just sitting with him already?
What he said? 50 Cent out today. So I'm gassing. I'm trolling. I wish I could pull off his laugh. I think that's close enough. Go ahead, man.
I saw their little beef going on in there, but as Young said, he is the one with the trophy, whether Casey likes it or not. He already got one. But yeah, this game was just terrible for Jaden Young. If they want any chance to make a run, he can't do this again. This has to be a one-time thing this season.
There you go.
I wanted to point out too, with Alabama, is that they honestly could have won this game if they just would have made their field goals. They missed 3, and if you added on there, they would have won this game if they just didn't miss. But there was just a feeling, I don't know, like as soon as the pick 6 happened, there was just this weird feeling that this just feels like, I don't know, like something's brewing, and you can normally get like a feeling very early in the game. Of course, Alabama, they were just able to bounce back, but Jaden Young, I mean, we haven't seen him play like that maybe since the CS6 Tennessee days. You would think after all of the growth that he has made, that you wouldn't see a type of performance like that from a cornerback of his caliber. And man, Andre Romano, he had a very tough day. They really couldn't get him going. Also, this game also proved once again, don't press D or Gore. Stop pressing D or Gore. I don't know why teams are still doing that. Stop pressing D or Gore.
82
He's
yards.
just going. Yeah, like he's just going to burn you the whole entire time. But Smitty, and you bring up a good point. Like you never know what you're going to get from the Sooners. We saw them back in CS4 when they came in with a lot of hype after making the playoffs, and they were just bad. And then CS5, the year that they beat them, they had a squad there with JoJo Carter and Dylan Lewis, the defensive Dylan Lewis, and all of those guys. Like they were pretty great. And then CS6, they were good, and then CS7, they just were not up to snuff at all. But you could kind of tell through the first 3 games that they played. Yeah, they haven't played anybody, but you could tell that there was just a different swag, a different feel of this Oklahoma Sooners team. And they got Alabama on their home field. They got the pick 6 early in the game, and a guy that I want to bring up, Ari Fioko, 18 catches, man. Like, that is insane. But a player that I want everybody to look out for, I think he got his like 3rd or 2nd pick of the year, is Ryan Bryant, the middle line. Ryan Bryant, this guy is a stud. He is going to be climbing up some middle linebacker boards, so that is a guy to watch out for the whole entire year. And you can tell he is the heart and soul of this Oklahoma Sooners defense, and props to them for getting the win. But yeah, just a very shocking performance from, the Mackey Award winner. So
Yeah, that was tough, man. That was tough to see um Jaden Young look old, 5 picks was definitely not a part of the bingo card. And Casey was waiting to troll him, which is crazy. So that made for some great.
he said, "I've been waiting my whole life for this."
So the trolling in the league is crazy. Um, and I think they was about to place a bet. They said they was about to do a bet talking about if he could throw 10 or less interceptions. I mean, he's at 6 now, but before this game, he only threw 1. I guess I could ask y'all, do y'all think he would throw, and he ends up throwing less than 10 interceptions with what he's got left on the schedule?
No.
Or no? I think he's going over past that.
He'll probably throw at least 10. I mean, this
10
is only
more.
week 4. He's got like 7 games left ish.
So got LSU. They still have.
So has to play whoever
They
they
still
play in the
have
conference.
Georgia. Yeah.
If they make the playoffs, they have to play whoever they want in the playoff. Yes, I would bet on him throwing 5 more interceptions in the next 8 games.
He's got some
based on who they
tune-up
have to play.
games coming up though that hopefully gets his confidence together. But 5 picks was definitely crazy. I would say this though, based off of what I saw in this game, it just looked like the offense was kind of running different. They were more fast-paced, running the hurry-up offense type of look, quickly getting the ball out there. And I think those quick plays kind of led to the quick decisions before the read was fully made by Jaden Young to trigger that amount of interceptions. Credit Oklahoma was bringing heat. They were definitely bringing heat with the pressure, so you have to give it to him. All those, he had 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. I like the bar cow guy. He looks like he sticks with being a quarterback first before using his legs. He rarely used his legs, but when he had to, he was getting out of there. So a nice little sneaky dual threat looking guy right there. It would be cool to tune into him now that they're 4-0. But yeah, that is the recap of week 4 of the college series. And we're now going to jump into the top 25, which most of it's been revealed already due to the rankings showing up on the recaps. But let's go ahead and look at what has shifted after that game, after that week. Here we go. Top 25. Clemson still number 1. LSU moves up a spot. So does Ohio State, Illinois, Oregon, and Nebraska. Oklahoma jumps all the way up from 12, 5 spots to 7 now. Bama, despite the loss, is still in the top 10. They go to 8. Nothing changes from 9 to 11 as Miami is 9, Georgia's 10, TCU 11. Tennessee moves up to 12, 13. Forbes is probably gritting his teeth underneath his lips. Memphis is at 13. Penn State at 14. Florida steadily moving up. They're at 15. They're looking really good. Some big dominant wins. Texas moving up. They're 16. Virginia Tech, remains to stay in place, as well as Ole Miss. They were once the 8th ranked team in the country after their loss. Oklahoma State, who was ranked 7th, drops all the way down to 19 after that loss to Texas. So that was a big loss. SMU stays where they're at. Baylor moves up to 21. Moving up as well as the rest of these squads is North Carolina State, Tulane, Notre Dame, and Colorado now breaks in the top 25 for the first time. Notre Dame back on the board too. They were off it last week. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I'm liking how these rankings are looking way better compared to last season, because last season the rankings, they kept a lot of teams just because they were winning in the conversation, and there was teams like these that we're seeing that we know are good that just maybe don't have the record we expected them to have at this point, that are finally just breaking in the top 25 early, despite those losses. For example, Notre Dame, and Texas And it's kind of cool too to also see, USC would have had a shot to get on there had they had beat Penn State. I think did not happen. So Penn State able to just steadily move up. But seeing Florida and Texas be able to break back in after the seasons they had last season, I think this 25 is this 26 top 25 ranking has definitely been a lot better than what we've seen. What's you guys' thoughts on the top 25 rankings?
Memphis is too high.
You said what?
Dude,
Memphis. Yeah, Memphis is looking. Somebody got
I
to knock
think
them off. I think they're still going to stay on there despite take a L. They still probably going to stay on there all year for us.
I think Tulane is too low. I think Tulane should be a bit higher.
Where would you? What
Um,
teams would you put them over that's ahead of them right now, other than Memphis? We know that.
um, I think I'd have them in between Ole Miss and Oklahoma State right now. I think they should be higher than 20.
Okay.
I don't think they're a top 10 team considering who they've played. But if you're going to have an average margin of victory of 35 points, I don't really care who you played. So I would have them 18, 19, 17-ish range. Haven't
I
really
would have
seen
them
TCU.
right in front of SMU is probably where I
Yeah,
would put them.
Put them at 20, and SMU drop. Everything else is fall back.
at
Yeah.
19. Oh, well, you said in front. Yeah, so 20.
Okay. What do you guys feel about Bama's drop from 2 to 8? You think that's justified to have them still be ranked higher than Miami, Georgia, and TCU, Alabama?
I was going to bring up one more point before we move on to that. Forbes, you are going to get your wish because Memphis, they do have two easy games coming up, but after a bye in week 8, out of nowhere, out of conference game, they play LSU. And then I know the game that you're waiting to see, Forbes, week 11, they have to go to Tulane to play Tulane. So that's something to watch out for.
Gas.
Tulane better win that game by 35 too.
But yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
I think I would still have Alabama above Georgia. This is a one game thing, and I still have more confidence in Jaden Young than I do Jonathan Wilson. I wouldn't hate moving Miami in front of them, but I mean I think it's deserved for them to fall behind Illinois, Oregon, and Oklahoma. I haven't seen much from Nebraska, and I would still have them above TCU. So I mean, 8 or 9, I think it's the right spot.
I was about to ask that too, man. Thoughts on Nebraska based off of the games you've seen them play in? How long do you think they hold a top 10 position? Do you think they are in the top 25 by the end of the year? And then also for Oklahoma after this victory, do they look legit? Do you think that they can be a team that you see in the playoffs this year?
I'll let Peacock go first because I answered the last one.
Oklahoma are already on here has two top 25 wins because they beat SMU in week 1, and now they just got their biggest win maybe in three seasons beating Bama, and now all roads seem to look like that we're heading for a big time match up in the Red River rivalry between them and Texas. So, they have all they still have Auburn on their schedule. They have Ole Miss, Tennessee, and then at the end of the year they have LSU. So they still have plenty of big time games to play, but the way that they have been looking, I've been very impressed with how Oklahoma has been playing. As far as Nebraska goes, they just keep starting off way too slow for me. Like I honestly wouldn't mind if Oklahoma would have jumped Nebraska at that number 6 spot because they got some big time games right after they play East Carolina, which we'll talk about soon. They play the Oregon Ducks, Illinois, and then they play Ohio State. You know, those are 3 games that they are going to have to get those slow starts
That's right.
out of
They're
the
not going to be
way.
in the top 25 in 3 weeks.
I think they will still be in the top 25, but they still have some big games there at the end. If Washington or Maryland are still playing as good as they are, they have to go play Washington and Maryland. Now, I think they have the better talent,
Also,
but the
also
slow
just said they
starts
have to
have been
play
a
a 4 and 5
concern.
team, though. So,
What'd you say, Forbes? Couldn't hear you.
well, Pecan just said that they have to play Ohio State, Illinois, and Oregon. If
In
Nebraska
3
has to play
straight weeks.
in 3 straight weeks, then Nebraska's not going to be in the top 25. They're going to take 3 straight L's.
Bells.
Yeah. But the thing is, I will say, for anybody wondering, there was an extra game. UNT, they lost, so that's why they're not on the top 25. They lost to San Jose State 38-20, 27 on the extra games channel. So that's why UNT isn't on there anymore. So
All I heard is that Pecan thinks Memphis is a playoff team.
Crazy.
I like the American League, man. I don't know. I think it's fun. It's chaotic. They've already given us a chaotic game to start the year. I think, they have some quality teams that you can't sleep on.
Well, all I heard you say, Pecan, is that since Oklahoma's got 2 top 25 wins, they should be a playoff team. Well, Memphis has beaten top 25 UConn and top 25 UTSA.
So they aren't in the top 25 anymore.
They were when they played.
They were, but UConn's now 0-4. They were a very big top 25 team, which I still wouldn't have put them there. But I think the rankings got it correct for this week, except some teams I would probably shift them over and everything. But I think they got it correct.
All right, man. So after that last point of the pod, we're going to get into the schedule. But before the schedule, this is what I was talking about, man. I had to bring in the 50 music again. Oh, man. Y'all won't believe what happened. Y'all will not believe what happened. Hold on. What's going on here? Why is this thing coming up? Okay. Why is this image? What is this? Okay, turn it off. Oh, yeah, that's the schedule. Yeah. What happened to the cameras? They just cut it off. Okay, well, I guess I'll put it this way. We got Forbes' reaction, I guess, on the side, but somebody done came in the file. Had the nerve to have the name legit White Boy on there with 8 lines.
It's White Boy.
White Boy was his name. Bro done came in the file because it was public. I didn't know. I thought it was on private. And apparently it wasn't. So White Boy came in the file and he done played the Georgia game, guys. Legit played y'all's game. But granted, he did y'all solid. We're not going to count it against college series history, but we have to count it as a dub for the season. And this boy came in here. First of all, why are you joining leagues? Why are you just joining leagues playing games? White Boy, if you're watching this and if you a troll or something on the RFL, you're tripping. And you done went and did honestly what we expected was going to happen anyway with Georgia winning. But putting up 69 on Auburn, 69-24 was the final score. Dude played 15-minute quarters on the sticks, and you only put up 69, boy, you trash. You ain't even like that. Came in here, it's a big win, it's a big margin of victory, but it was also on all pro, or what they call it, All-American?
Yep.
It's All-American. You was playing on All-American 15-minute quarters, 12 seconds, and you only put up 69 points. Boy, you trash. Don't even play NCAA again. I hope you see this video. You was garbage. You won for the right team. You definitely did, but you done messed it up, man. So Georgia boys, I'd like to apologize for White Boy for doing, it's not really an apology. I think he really helped you out. He done threw 4 touchdown passes with Jonathan Wilson, so he done helped you out, but he threw a pick too. So he added that onto your stat. He went kind of crazy. He upped y'all a little bit on the stats, but honestly, the stats still wasn't too crazy. It wasn't too crazy, honestly. So with that not being too crazy, that makes him even more trash. Even more trash. How you got all that time and you don't throw 8 touchdowns with John Wilson? How you got all that time and you don't got 5-6 touchdown rushes, and that's including with John Wilson? Why ain't you got 38 sacks in 15-minute quarters, 12 to 18, 18-second runoff? White boy, you trash. Again, not to be racist. Hope you guys don't take that out of context, but the white boy was trash.
That was his name.
That was literally his name. We got a screenshot. Matter of fact, we're gonna download. I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna download the screenshot what Pecan literally sent.
Making sure you don't show the other stuff, because there's things in that screenshot that show some stuff.
See Rob in the chat. Was it?
Are you able to cut it down for me, then, Pecan?
Yeah. Let me.
He on the podcast in a beater, a do rag, ranting about white boys. Is this what RFL season 1 vibes were?
This is crazy, man. But Colo is like what I stepped into. You stepped into greatness, man. You done stepped into 50 Smitty. How can I mix that, man? 50.
I just said it's
50. I don't know. But yeah, man. Okay, he sent it.
Let me just say that I feel bad for the Auburn Tigers here, who was 4-0, and the Georgia and Auburn game historically has been a great game in the college series, and it was a great game last year in CS7 as Georgia had to come back to win that game. It's just unfortunate that we're not going to be able to see that game, because I was actually very excited to see that game.
And look,
now we're not
just so y'all know we ain't tripping. What that say? You already know Smitty Biscuit. But look at that. Whiteboard on blew out Auburn 69-24. Just walked in the foul with Georgia, man. That's crazy. Imagine waking up later on in your day and you get a message that says this. White boy playing one of your games he ain't supposed to and beating and blowing out Auburn, taking one of our better games this week and winning 65, blowing them out by 45 points, man. That's crazy. White boy tripping. But let's get back to I'll turn the 50 cents off. No, matter of fact, because I got a feeling I'm gonna turn back up later on in these
all you gotta say to Georgia, they just enjoy the win. But yeah, I agree with not counting that game as far as like college series history goes. But Georgia, just be happy that you got a free win towards your year.
Yeah, so here we go. I got the spreads already beforehand. They already loaded up in the college series spread. I'm going to send it after I'm done talking over all the games. First game of the week, though, Monday. Tune in. We got number 2 LSU versus number 15 Florida. Should be a banger. Florida out here undefeated. I thought them boys was going to be trash. They was not. I mean, blowing out Notre Dame 37-0. Granted, they didn't have Isaiah Fuller. Probably would have made a difference. Who knows? We don't know. But they are going up against LSU. This is a chance for them to make a statement in the swamp and take down the best rated defense in college football this season in the RFL College Series. I got LSU winning, but the way Florida been playing, I couldn't put them up by a lot. I got the Tigers winning by 5 or more points. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I have LSU winning. Florida's been playing really, really well. I think LSU has one of the 5 best defenses in college football, and they're not ranked 2 for no reason. So I'm taking LSU in this.
I will say this, though. This has been a close series throughout the whole entire year. LSU, they lead the series 4-3. And Florida, they upset LSU last year when they had that pretty great defense and Tony Oliveira,
Mm-hmm.
28-10. But Florida, man, what's been surprising with them is that they have put up the fourth most points in the FBS. They're scoring 55.3 points a game compared to LSU's 45.7. So Florida, they have the fourth best scoring offense. And something I didn't really think was going to happen. They have the number one best offense in the college series, and they also have the number two best defense in the college series. So this is a team that's playing on a elite level. So this is like really their first big test because just like we have said, Notre Dame they didn't have Bowler in that game. So to me, I feel like, but we also saw with LSU of when they played a pretty great defense in Utah, like they gave them trouble. It's a toss up for me. And Florida is one of only two teams, along with Ohio State, that have not given up a single point this whole entire year. So
Just
they
had to
they
throw.
just been playing
Yeah,
lights out.
had to throw Ohio
So
State in there, didn't
Oh yeah,
you?
one of two. But what I will say is that I'm actually going to go with the Florida Gators in the swamp.
Oh
Give me
Lord.
them in the upset.
Oh Lord. They taking
I'm going the
Florida.
Gators.
You hear that, JoJo? Where the Florida boys at? Pecan taking y'all to upset LSU at the Swamp. That's going to be interesting to watch. Rob Roby going to be calling that game. Tuesday, Virginia Tech versus Clemson. ACC CS7 championship rematch. Clemson, I got them boys winning. They kind of scared me a little bit last week against FSU. Only winning by 14, but it was 30-30 in the fourth late. So that goes to show you how close of a game that really was, as we already talked over it. So I would expect Clemson to beat Virginia Tech by more points like they did in the first two games, against their two top-tier opponents. It was Michigan and Georgia. But I'm going to take them to beat Virginia Tech by 21 or more in this game. I think it could definitely be more, but we'll see how that impact from last week might impact them, So what do you guys think about that? Did they cover the spread?
Before that, Smitty, I
Mm.
just realized you got to remove the RFL title layer on top of the
Oh,
graphic.
yeah. Let me go ahead and do that. There we go.
I just looked up there. Yeah. But yeah, I'm still gonna take Clemson. They're ranked number one for a reason. Virginia Tech hasn't looked that impressive in the games we've seen them either, whereas Clemson has shown that they're blowing out some top teams already. I think it's still pretty clearly Clemson with the spread.
Yeah, Virginia Tech, they have been scaring me. I mean, they were only able to beat their FCS team on the Extra Games channel by 37 points. I was very
Tough.
shocked with how they played. Like, scoring 37 and you're ranked 17th in the country, and you're only scoring 37 points against an FCS team when you got schools that aren't even as high as you scoring more. That just concerns me. I think Clemson blows them out 48-10. I think Clemson, they rise up for these types of games. I think the Florida State game was just like a trap game. It was their first away game. I think Diamond Armani is going to get the Tigers right, and I think Clemson walked away there with a huge win.
All right, next game later on that night. Pecan, you'll be in the booth calling this one. Oklahoma State versus Colorado. Colorado is now ranked. And finally, we get to see that 99 overall defensive back, true freshman, in action live with the home field advantage. But in that matchup, I've got Oklahoma State, despite the loss that they took to Texas, which was embarrassing, as we talked over it again. 45-7 was the final there. I think that Oklahoma State comes back on the road, beats Colorado by at least a touchdown.
Yeah, I still have Oklahoma State winning this. We haven't seen Colorado play yet, so I don't know much about them. I just have belief in Kareem Douglas to not have back-to-back weeks where the team falls flat in their face. So I got Oklahoma State.
Alrighty, well, since I'm calling this a game, um, of course I'm gonna call the game as I'm biased, but since I'm on the panel tonight, as someone who has already seen Colorado play on the Extra Games channel, um, if you thought the Texas defensive line gave Oklahoma State fits, there's two names that I want you guys to know. Sean Melvin and Cole Lyles. They both have 9 sacks, 18 sacks combined. This Colorado defense, they get after the cornerback. They also average 53.7 points a game. Yeah, they haven't played anybody, but their defenses has only allowed 176 yards allowed per game. They are the third best in the country. I have Colorado winning this game in an upset. I'm
Oh,
going with the Buffs here with the home field. I think the Colorado Buffaloes give Kareem Douglas a terrible night. I think they just win this game and they show that why they are ranked.
he caught on his bold today. Okay, going to the premier games before the last game at the top right. We'll save that one. But TCU versus Kansas. I've got TCU by 17 or more points.
Yeah, I'll take TCU in this. I just think they're the better team.
Yeah, I think TCU. It's good to finally see them play on the main channel and stuff like that. They had that big win against Texas Tech a few weeks ago. And they've had a very slow start against UConn, and they also started slow against an FCS school too. But right after the bye, maybe this is their chance to get right, and I think TCU comes out and wins this game pretty easily.
And we
Yo,
got
Smitty,
hmm,
were you like rushing to make this graphic?
yeah, why? Well, not really. Why?
Because there's like of any of these games, you like randomly have lowercase letters and like either at the beginning or the middle of the
Oh
of
no,
these
it's
teams.
all caps, man. It's just the way the font is. I don't know why it does that. It's kind of up and down.
Okay,
So
so I
yeah,
was like looking at G,
yeah, they're all
Stanford,
caps. Yeah,
UNC, and
I don't know
Yeah,
why it
yeah,
does
the
that.
S, yeah, the S and the T, yeah.
I tried to even them. I
the
like see about even them
yes.
out, but I can't, man. I guess because they're so small and they have to fit in, it just does that, which is weird. But man, Miami finally getting a shot at FCS, man. How much y'all think they putting up? I got them winning by 55 or more.
Oh, are we back? I didn't hear anything you just said about Miami.
Oh, I said
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Miami's finally playing FCS, man, and I got them winning by 55 or more. How many points you think they're putting up?
Um, I think FCS is going to win this one by 10. I think Dante Taylor.
That's the right answer, man. Since they want to punch on UNC.
I
Sorry,
got
man. Go ahead.
I got
Say again.
Miami winning with the spread.
Okay.
Know the challenge has been laid down. If I know anything about CP and Lee, I'm sure as soon as they saw that 88 points, Miami's like, we have to break that. So I expect Miami to throw everything in the kitchen sink at FCS, and they're just going to blow these guys out. Matty King, if there's a game for Matty King to get right, this is your game.
Oh. All right.
Don't let
Georgia
us down.
Tech versus Stanford. I've got the Yellow Jackets with another dub, beating Stanford by 4 or more points.
I'm gonna keep my hating streak alive. I'm gonna pick Stanford to upset Georgia Tech.
Oh man.
Bring up the inside joke. I accidentally typed these guys a standard earlier today, so I would have gone with them if I didn't know that they lost to Buffalo in the Sim. So not only did you just give up 71 points to Miami back in Week 3, you just lost to Buffalo, a MAC team. I was actually going into this week feeling like I think they can win this game because Georgia Tech didn't really look all that great against Boston College. But with now knowing that they lost to the Buffalo Bulls, I gotta go with Tech in this one, and I definitely think Tech wins this by at least 7.
All right, next game, 4 p.m. 6 p.m. slot getting started. We've got USC versus Rutgers. USC looking to bounce back after the heartbreaking loss to Penn State. I got them winning by 30 or more.
Yeah, I was just about to say this is a get right game for USC. I was going to say they should win this by at least 30 points. I'm gonna go with USC.
I agree. I think this is a game that Severio is going to use to motivate his guys to get them in the right position. After taking the heartbreaking loss, I know how badly USC that they wanted to be ranked. And now they'll just have to wait. I still think that this USC team is great. After what we just saw happen in the Nebraska and Rutgers game, I think USC wins this game pretty easily by at least 40.
All right, we got California versus SMU. I got SMU by 14 or more points.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I have no reason to say otherwise. I think SMU is a better team than California. So, yeah, SMU with the spread.
Really, the only loss that SMU has had has been to the team who just upset the number 2 team in the. Okay, are we good now?
Yeah, you good now.
I mean, the only loss that we've seen from SMU was them losing to the number 2 team was them losing to Oklahoma. So, I mean, and ever since then, they have been blowing teams out. California, they just took a big loss to BYU on the Extra Games channel. And I'm starting to think that the Cal cornerback and the Maryland cornerback are possibly brothers because they both have the same last name, Cal. Yeah, but the better one went to Maryland because this kid did not play great against BYU. So I have SMU winning this game.
All right, in the last 6 p.m. game, Tulane versus North Texas. I think Tulane's, they've been blowing everybody out. North Texas been frauds. I think they're going to destroy those guys by 40 or more points.
Yeah, I got Tulane by 60.
I could see it. Honestly, with the way that UNT played against with the way that UNT played against San Jose State, and we also just saw them get blown out by Colorado in week 1. I think Tulane is just going to be way too much for them in this game. And just like we have said, this is what you want to see out of this team. They have been blowing everyone out. Even Mississippi State and Charlotte. I think Tulane is going to win this game pretty easily, and I will take the spread.
You guys hear that, right? Huh? That's 50 Cent coming back again. You want to know why, man? You want to know why? This is the reason why, man. Rivalry. UNC versus Duke. I told y'all from here on out, UNC whooping heads. Everybody want to talk about Duke this, Duke that. Duke this, he ain't do this, he ain't do that. I'm almost turning into Chief Keef right now in that little intro joint. But they gonna need to, you know what I mean, what he said afterwards. And can't use that language in here. But UNC is gonna take Duke down. But realistically though, just being realistic, I got the spread Duke by 6 or more points as being that team. But UNC gonna cause that upset though, man. What you guys think? Your thoughts on that?
Well, after that riveting speech, I'm gonna have to take UNC to upset them. They're gonna have a blast. They're gonna have a blast for him before the game.
Mm-hmm. This is a big rivalry game too. I think with Duke, this is really their first big test because Georgia Tech, yes, that was like a test, but Georgia Tech, they aren't in that tier. UNC kept Miami to 10 points for 3 quarters and could have won that game if their offense just didn't collapse. But Duke, Vince Hunt and six touchdowns from him in his game against Toledo and everything. I mean, I think this is Duke's biggest test, but I gotta take the Blue Devils at home.
Yeah, man. You ain't down with UNC. You the real You the real Old heads don't know ball if you ain't taking UNC. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what Big K talking about, 55 to 23. You might need to flip that. Because that's what's going to happen.
I think it will be close.
I think it's going to be BTA with bacon, tomatoes, and anchovies. That's what we're going to use instead. I don't know. Something for BTA. Oh, I done said it. Oh, man. Play bell for me. But, yeah, it's going to be bad. UNC all day, man. Let me go ahead and turn the 50 off. But Minnesota versus Penn State, that should be a pretty good matchup. But I'm taking Penn State by 13 or more points.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Penn State. They've been competitive in every game they've been in, whereas Minnesota's has either won or gotten blown out. So I think Penn State is the team to go with.
It depends on what Minnesota team wants to show up. I mean, if they did get blown out by Alabama, but Alabama is just in a whole nother tier compared to Minnesota. I think Penn State, after that big win, we have seen that where a team gets a really big win and then the next week, like they just kind of come out flat. I can see Penn State starting slow, but then just like right at the end that they start to wear down Minnesota, and I think they win this game by 10.
Okay, next game we got Thursday slot game, so we're looking on the right. Number 4 Illinois versus Michigan State, and I've got what did you say they call them again? Illini.
Yep, the Fighting Illini.
Illini. Illini. By 16 or more points.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking Illinois for sure in this matchup. It's not close.
Michigan State so far in the college series, we haven't seen them play, but that's for a good reason, as they are 2-2, and 2 of their losses haven't been really pretty. I think Illinois, I think they win this game by 20 or more.
All right, number 18, Ole Miss versus Arkansas. I've got Ole Miss getting another dub for their record by a touchdown or more.
I'm going to take Arkansas here. They just had a really competitive game with Auburn. Last time we saw Ole Miss, they were getting upset by Baylor. So I'm gonna take Arkansas here.
I think if they would have at least won against Auburn or Texas A&M, I would probably go with them. But this is the first time that we are seeing them play a top 25 team for this year. And just like I said, they were the king of the spoilers a year ago. But I just think this is a completely different Arkansas team that we are, this is not the same team from last year. And I think it will be close because they have lost all of these games close. And I think Arkansas loses to Ole Miss in this game by at least 4.
Mississippi State versus Texas. I got Texas by 45 or more points.
Ooh.
Yeah, I hated on them last week. I'm gonna take them this week. I'm gonna take Texas with the spread. So, don't let it bite me in the butt here, Shady.
I will
Cut out.
say, am I good now?
You good?
We
now.
good? This Texas team, along with a lot of other teams, are playing the best defense that we have been seeing them play. And Mississippi State, after what we've seen, they got beat down by UNC. They got beat down by Tulane. I think that the Longhorns give me about 3 or 4 touchdowns from Shady Houston in this game. I think he's going to run all over the Bulldogs, and I will take that spread.
All right, 6 p.m. games. We got number 7 Oklahoma versus Missouri in a rivalry game. I've got the Sooners by 17 or more points.
Yeah, after seeing what they just did to Alabama, I think there's no reason not to take Oklahoma against whoever they're playing. So I'm going with
Missouri.
Oklahoma. I just meant like whoever they're playing in general.
Oh,
What is the spread on this game?
17 or more.
I'm not going to take the spread. I think this is going to be your Clemson Florida State game where it's going to appear because one of the biggest issues for Missouri in the Illinois game was they just turned that ball over because they were actually keeping that Illinois offense in check.
Yeah, cut out. Still not back.
I kind of have it going like the same way that the Florida State and Clemson game where it's going to be close. I will not take that spread, but the Sooners win.
All right. Then we got Louisville versus number 22 NC State. I've got NC State by 10 or more.
I'll take NC State here. We haven't seen much from either team this year, but we've seen NC State get into close competitive games and then come out on top in those games. So I'm going to take them for that.
The way that Louisville has been playing, we have seen them twice now in the Notre Dame game and in the Florida State game, and they just haven't looked competitive at all. And NC State, they just got a very big win against Kansas State and Louisiana after that heartbreaking loss and the 3 overtime game against Tennessee. I think NC State wins this game, but I think Louisville does give them a fight.
All right, Utah versus Houston. I've got Utah by 21 or more points.
Oh,
I'm going to take Utah. And I don't think they'll cover that spread. I think 21 is
I
too
don't.
wide for what we just saw.
I think they don't cover it either. I agree with that. This Houston team, I think, is a very underrated team to look out for the whole entire year. They got Brian Ortega at the running back spot, who's been running wild, and Brent's the cornerback is playing really, really well. But this Utah team, who have they only lost to? They have only lost to the number 2 team and the number 14 team in the country, and they played both of them close. I do think that Houston, they are going to have a good year, but I still think that Utah is the better team. But I'm going to take the Utes in this game, but Houston will cover that spread.
All right, and unfortunately, because of old white boy who played the game again, if you missed what happened while I'm mentioning him as old white boy, here goes another reminder. Had a dude come in the file and do this, and that was literally his PSN. So crazy, man. Got some crazy dudes out there, man. But instead of the Georgia and Auburn game that was supposed to be played at this one is Syracuse versus Pittsburgh instead. And I don't have a spread for this, but now I got to make one. And if I had to make one, just off the top of my head,
Both teams are a 77 overall.
I'm gonna just take Pittsburgh by 3.5.
I think I would go with Syracuse in this. I just like from what I've seen in just NCAA, I think I like their playbooks and schemes better.
No, for anyone who hasn't seen, so we haven't seen a Syracuse game all year. If anybody remembers last year, they played everybody in the college series that you could think of. They played Tennessee, Miami, Notre Dame, Clemson. They played every hard team that you could think of. It was a tough year for the Orange. But they have an 86 overall defense, but they have a 71 overall offense. So and they're 4-0. They are 4-0. That's already more wins than they had a year ago. Pittsburgh, we've only seen them play once, and they lost to West Virginia back in week 2. This game is a toss up. But if there's anything I've seen, the defense is king. I'm gonna go with the Qs, man. I think the Orange, they will win this game.
All right, then we have the final premier game being number 21 Baylor and Rodney taking on Texas Tech. I got Rodney winning by a touchdown or more.
Yeah, in these kind of games, I'm always going to take the coach team. So I'm going to go with Rodney and take Baylor.
I have Baylor in this game too. Texas Tech, they just lost to Arizona 39-31 on the Extra Games channel back in week 4. This is not the same Tech team that we saw a year ago that made it to the Big 12 title game and could have made it to the College Series playoffs. Their cornerback, he's just been having so many problems. I like Baylor to win this game, and I will take that spread.
All right, then we get to our game of the week. Pecan, you just break down, how you're feeling getting into the game and, what you want to have happen or expect to happen. But first, we'll see what Forbes thinks as numbers 5, Oregon takes on Ohio State. This is a rematch of the Big Ten championship game. Both teams were undefeated, I remember, going into that game, and then it was just an absolute massacre as Ohio State was just dogged the Ducks big time. I can't remember the score. I do feel like Oregon's a little bit more ready, a little bit more leveled this time around, despite them having that close game against UCLA. And again, it was a rain game. I think that kind of had something to do with it. But I am taking Ohio State by 14 or more points.
I'm going to take Ohio State in this game as well. I think both teams have had cupcake schedules up to this point, but Oregon has not played a defense like Ohio State's. Now, Oregon's defense is also good, but it's not Ohio State's defense. So I'm not sure if Corey Baines and the Ducks are ready for what Ohio State brings for every part of that team, offense, defense, special teams. So I'm going with Ohio State.
So the coach side to me, this is what I will say. I've been preparing for this team for 2 weeks now. I didn't prepare for the FCS game. I'm just letting everyone know. That was like the one team that I'm like, you guys just go and have fun. Go have fun. I've been preparing for the Oregon game ever since the NIU game because I knew after seeing them score 80 in week 1, 76 in week 2, and then 67 in week 3. I knew coaching wise, like I need a game plan for this team. This defense is playing at a level that we have never seen from Ohio State out of all of the college series. And we've had some terrific defenses. The last time that the Ducks came into Columbus, I was on that team. And I'm sure you remember that game, Smitty. That game was a field goal party. It was a pretty big game. It was a night game, and we just traded field goals back and forth. And then what's his name? Carr just ran all over us there to get them in the field goal range. And of course, the legend of Ronnie Football, he had to throw the game winner to Don Brunk and give us that loss back in CS4. So, so I know Dylan Lewis. I know Steve McCaskill and Arturo Flores. I know these guys are going to be ready, and I know that defense is that we are going to be ready for the Ducks. Now, the RFL side, these two teams, 62.5. That's how many points that Oregon is averaging. Ohio State, 63.7. These are the two highest scoring offenses in the college series. On the defensive side, Ohio State, we have the number 1 best defense right now. The Oregon Ducks, they have the
You cut out.
5th Oregon and Ohio State are
You said what?
sacks out of any team. What?
You cut out if you said you guys had the number one.
Oh, we have the number 1 defense, and Oregon has the number 5 best defense. This game, you guys are getting us. You guys are pretty much getting a playoff game in week 5, and I hope everyone tunes in for this game. This is a big time matchup, and all I know is that the Ohio State Buckeyes are going to be ready for the Ducks, and we can't wait to play them.
That is the recap, our predictions on what we think is going to go down this upcoming week. I'm going to go ahead and send in the spreads right now for everybody. So, boom, that's just been posted in Discord.
Everybody lost their bet for this week. I just wanted to point that out. Rodney Goins, credit to him, the only one to bet on the Penn State and USC game. For the minute, it looked like he was going to be the only one who was going to lose his bet. Nope, everyone got an X. It was awesome to watch.
Hey, man, y'all need to bet them spreads, man. Bet them spreads, make it more interesting. You can only lose, I think, what we calculated up like 5,000. You're not even going to lose more than 5,000 reloads if you bet the whole year every week. So, I mean, make it fun for yourself. Probably win some games. But if some games, I guess you know you're going to win those, then go ahead and, place it down on the money line, whatever you want to do. But I think it'd be more interesting for the spreads, man, if you guys try to get what's, get it that way, man. So try to do that if you can. That's it for the podcast. We're not even going to leave it open for questions because, man, it's already been 2 hours. We would usually end off this podcast on, the RFL theme song. But instead, we ended on 50, man. Because, I mean, it was just that kind of podcast tonight, man. Had to go ahead, talk about how the whiteboard was tripping. We had to talk about UNC getting disrespected, but we're going to go ahead and command the respect from the Blue Devils this week. A lot of great games. It's going to be a great week you don't want to miss, man. I will not be dressed up like this again unless UNC does something crazy. I will tell you that. The PR team already been yelling at me already, talking about what I'm doing. It is what it is, man. I'd ride or die for UNC, man. I whoop heads too. But that's going to be it. We'll see you guys on Monday for the first game. Again, make sure you tune in. LSU versus Florida should be a banger. I remember that in the first ever college series, man. Geno Gannon, Marquise Washington, the first meeting. So hopefully this game, based off how those two plays that have been playing, should be another great one. But that's it for me, your boy Smitty, RFL Commissioner and play-by-play commentator, Jordan here, along with Forbes and Pecan. And we will see you guys next time. Peace.